Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Selena. Today I am going to show you how to make shrimp creole. My grandmother used to make this all the time. One year, a long time ago, when I was home from college visiting, she had made a pot of shrimp creole, and she told me she was putting some aside for me before it was all gone. So when I went over to her house to get my shrimp creole, it was gone. One of my uncles ate it. I guess he didn't know it was saved for me, and there was no more left at all. So she showed me how to make it, and I'm going to show you. Let's take a look at the ingredients for the shrimp creole and get them chopped up. Chop the seasonings to the size that you like. Next, you want to chop your tomatoes. I prefer the canned whole tomato because I can chop them to my desired texture. Now go ahead and peel your shrimp. Reserve the shells though. We are going to use the shells to make a shrimp stock. We are going to flavor our shrimp creole with the shrimp stock. After you peel your shrimp, you want to go ahead and devein them and also wash them. Okay, let's go ahead and prepare our shrimp stock. To the pot that has your shells, you want to add water and whatever seasonings you want to add. I like to use a little salt, bay leaf, and typically I would also add a small stalk of celery, but I forgot. So go ahead and prepare your stock and set it on the stove to boil. Bring your stock to a boil. Once your stock has come to a boil and reduced a little bit, turn the fire off and set it aside to use it a little bit later. And the more shells, the better. But I'm only making a small pot of creole, so I didn't really have a lot of shells. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get started on our shrimp creole. To a saucepan, you want to add a little bit of oil, vegetable oil or canola oil, and a pat of butter. My grandmother always added butter to her oil. She said that the butter adds more flavor to the oil. So go ahead and add your oil and your butter to a saucepan and then pour in your chopped seasoning. Saute the seasonings until they are soft. Once your seasonings have sauteed to your desired softness, go ahead and add about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of flour. This will help thicken the shrimp creole. But make sure you cook the flour taste out. You don't want your shrimp creole to taste like flour. So stir well and cook your flour. After your seasoning is sauteed and the flour has been incorporated, go ahead and add your chopped tomatoes and let's go ahead and add our shrimp stock to our sauteed seasonings and tomatoes. I like to strain my shrimp stock before I add it to the saucepan. I don't like all that gunk that forms on top of the stock as it's reducing. So I use a strainer and a mesh cloth to strain the stock. And I'm being lazy and straining right over the saucepan. But if you like, you can strain your stock into a separate container and then pour that from the other container into your saucepan. And also, if you don't have a mesh cloth, that's okay. You can use a paper towel. It works just as well. So after you've added your stock to your saucepan, go ahead and add the parsley, which has been chopped. I like to add the parsley at this stage during the process because I want to see the parsley in my shrimp creole. If you were to add it when you're sauteing all your seasonings, it would probably cook down and you wouldn't see it and probably wouldn't be able to taste it. So I like to add the parsley at this stage. I'm adding just a little bit of sugar to cut through the tomato taste. You don't want your shrimp creole to taste like tomatoes and shrimp. You want all the flavors to be balanced. I love the taste of bay leaves, so I'm adding a couple more bay leaves and a little bit more salt. Now this is optional, but I like my shrimp creole a little spicy, so I'm adding liquid shrimp and crab boil. It adds a really nice flavor to the shrimp creole, but it is highly concentrated. So I generally start off with just a capful, and then I'll taste as I go. And if I find that I want a little bit more spice or a little bit more heat, then I'll add just a little bit at a time as I go. After the seasonings have been added, mix that well, bring to a low to medium boil, cover and simmer for about 45 minutes. Let's go ahead and prepare our shrimp. Depending on what size shrimp you are using, you may not have to do this, but the shrimp that I am using are very large. So I am going to cut them in half. I'm using farm-raised shrimp, which I'm not crazy about. I prefer wild-caught shrimp because they add more flavor, but this is all they had in my market. As you can see, I'm not using a whole lot of shrimp. That's because I'm just making a really small pot of shrimp creole, but this recipe can easily be scaled up for more. So once your tomatoes and your seasonings have simmered for 30 to 45 minutes, go ahead and add your shrimp. And they will not take long to cook. So stir those in maybe 15-20 minutes and then serve over rice. I like to add just a little bit of chopped fresh parsley over my bowl of shrimp creole. And one more thing that I forgot to add is that when you are adding your shrimp stock to your tomatoes and seasonings, if you find that you need more liquid, you can use either water or chicken stock. If you decide to use water, you will probably need to adjust your seasonings just a little bit. Anyway, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for more quick, easy, and delicious recipes. Until we meet again, goodbye.